Welcome to Limworld Darkness. This is a scene that includes a mage and a changeling. Now, maybe it was 3 weeks ago, maybe it was like a couple minutes ago. Time passes differently here. But the Seer Camarle and the Canaan mage, Edwin, are on a journey to go back to the dreaming of Wales, of Cymru. They held each other's hands and they went down the path. Is this a path actually that Edwin has been down before?
No, not from Taranar to Wales. No.
Well, it's a very long walk.
Boring.
No, the dreaming is not boring. Whatever you might say about it, it's torturous, it's cruel, it's amazing, it's orgasmic, it's not boring.
Okay, well,
you might be feeling hungry though, because Camarle is very insistent that you must not eat anything of the dreaming.
Okay, I'm sure I've had myself a bowl of porridge before going on this one, because Edwin does know just a tiny little bit about the realms of the Fae and the understanding of bartering. It's probably had some slices of toast. I think he can manage that. I mean, toast is a pretty easy thing to produce, magically or otherwise.
As long as it's not dream stuffed toast.
It's not dream stuffed toast. No, this toast tastes like shit. So yeah.
Oh, it has Marmite.
No.
Oh God, is it Rarebit?
Well, it could be a bit of cheese and toast and mustard. I think you can manage that.
Like, is it mustard? I heard it was beer too.
No. Wales, that's far too much effort.
Sounds lovely. They took hands and they went down to Cymru.
They did.
And I saw many strange things. But after a long time, it was hard to tell where the mists were and where the path was. You still felt the loving embrace, as it were, of the silver path. You didn't feel like you were in any danger or getting lost. But things blended together. And eventually, you're going to come to it marks Wales for Wales, really. It's what every Fae, any Fae, even if they don't understand it, is caught up in. They never quite got over this particular loss. You see them there, these figures who you can't quite make out the facial features for. There will be a woman, maybe in her 30s, maybe in her 20s, kneeling up against a big empty chair. There will be a man in a corner who you can't make out any features for, and a young man near the kneeling woman who looks disgraced. As you get closer to the chair, you know it's the chair that Arthur sat on. Whatever he was, so long ago, Fae, technocrat, just a human. He's gone, and Wales has never quite gotten over this loss. When they get closer, though, Veronica holds Edwin tight to her because the man with no features has started to move and started to look at Edwin. Started to get closer to him.
Edwin is a follower of the path. He understands and knows the many nature of the King's roads in and out, especially of his valued home. Even though there are spirits and beings and creations of dream that he has never encountered before, and they will document as he meets them in the future, he does have his guard around him. One thing that wasn't uttered or wasn't spoken about in the previous scene was the fact that Edwin, when you entered into Taranar, bore a staff. Used to be of one of the other local woods. Used to be of a nice, shining, healthy wooden colour, but it's cracked and has been bleached red. Crackles with energy, and the sound of whispers of the Alfir seem to come off it when you approach, or when it is raised aloft. The light follows and guides away and keeps darkness at bay. And that is what is issuing slightly from his staff. The hermit, being a hermetic as he is, but also being a connoisseur of the old laws, Scandinavians, this is his beacon, and he now holds it aloft in gentle repose to make sure that whatever this thing approaching him stays where it is. Salutations. We are traversing this path and mean you no ill will. May we pass?
The man is gone. Um, and Kamarle clutches Edwin to her for the first time. You see that she doesn't seem so practiced and so in control. But she looks at Edwin now because he is glowing in a similar manner as to that figure. Veronica shakes her head. Did you ever live here before?
Edwin looks down at Veronica. I have walked these roads before, yes.
We should go. I've never seen the figures move before.
Okay, come. Well, you're leading me, so.
Yes, the dragon. Let's go to the dragon.
Why do you wish to see the dragon?
You seem to have it in your head that this dragon can exist without us, and that we can exist without the dragon.
Yes, because it is a concept, like all things. You should know by now, my dear, in the realm of the dreaming, concepts and dreams become reality in this place. So there is possible for something to exist, and it represents an emotion or a notion, or I don't know, patriotism or something like that. The dragon represents strength of the earth, I think. But I can you take me where you will, and we'll also see if the old worms awake.
I'm taking you with me because I need to know if your way of thinking things is true.
As
When
you
your mind, when you were lost to me, it hurt me deeply. But what you are now doesn't seem right.
so you say, and I would accuse you of the same thing.
That I'm not right anymore.
Hmm. Well, I don't think you ever were, but you're not what I'm used to and what I remember. This new you that you're trying out doesn't seem to be very present.
Very present.
Hmm.
What would ever make you think that? She says, the fire swirling all around her. The child crying, by the way, has not stopped either.
Yeah. I'm surprised you're not talking about yourself in a third person. To be perfectly honest, I suspect a few more years and you will.
I was a bad human. Let's see if I can be a better fae.
Hmm.
Now, as for you,
Well, they say that I would say I was a bad human, and let's hope I can be a better mage.
there are no good Order of Hermes.
Well, I shall politely tell you to fuck off, then, if that is the case. I'm sure there are very, very good orders of Hermes, just none that you've met. Or perhaps you're seeing them for the human side of things rather than the mage side.
Samantha Deacon.
Yes, she was more mage than human. She shut herself away from the real world and kept herself to a laboratory and practiced the true art. She was chaos incarnate and therefore probably one of your best friends.
She brought the wild spider to my house.
She's fantastically mad. Did I say that? Yes, I did. And so was
Oh,
I. And that's how we got on as well.
I loved her for it,
Hmm.
but she wasn't good.
Not a good human? No. Not as I said, a good mage? Yes. Broken human parts. Mage part was stronger. Simple as. It's always been the case. And there are far too many mages that play at being human, or many human beings that play at trying to be magical, but fail to understand the core concept. Those ones that ascend to such power then start to become political. Rather silly games that humans play, and it's not becoming of them. And probably you would find them very, very crap. Very, very bad humans.
Let's go to the countryside.
Fantastic. So it's been some time since I walked around the dreaming in this place. The Umbral realms seem to be fraught with, well, pixies and gnomes and everything from this bloody place. Lead on.
She keeps you at a distance, no longer holding your hand. But you are still in the dreaming. She keeps her promise and in hopes that time will not dilate too much, or that it will dilate in the direction that they both hope, backwards. They see the countryside as the great poets of Wales, the dreamers, the lovers, hoped that it would be. The trees are a little bit more luscious here. You see a man, um, let me see if I can get the picture here. Yes, Lost in Thought by Clear Crystal Glade. You see a small farmhouse. Everything is perfect, as if it were out of a mid 80s BBC special. um, but it doesn't take too long before you see it glowing there, brighter and warmer than anything else around it. The Trod.
Edwin sighs and he sees it. This place. This is our destination, I guess.
Yes, I need to know.
Aye, well, I trust the Veronica. I guess I shall continue to for a little while. Lead on.
You don't understand.
Uh-huh.
You are opening the Trod.
Oh, really?
Yes, you are.
Why am I opening the trod?
Because you are Fey-blooded.
For God's sakes.
And this
And
is your
you're...
birthright. And this is
and
something you should be able to do, Edwin.
I'm sure I can open it, but I don't particularly want to. Why? You are true Fae. You should be able to open that. Why do you need me? Hmm?
I can open it. But I want you to. I want to see that you can do it. I want to see that you still have that ability.
I see. So you're testing the power that is within me now, is that right? This is just all this trip and journey is a test to see what I am.
For you to know what you are. It's more for you.
I'm fully aware of my heritage, Veronica. I don't need a demonstration in my old stomping grounds. Fine, fine, fine. Edwin will step forward and he'll place his stuff on the ground and he'll pace 10 feet straight from the Trod's entrance. He'll place his staff in. The soft earth of the ground, it eagerly takes the staff and he pushes it down a good inch or two to keep it safe, keep it standing straight. He places his hand upon the staff and raises one hand in a beckoning gesture to the Trod itself. Touching the staff, a red-hued mist seems to leap from the cracks inside, and you can see a subtle change in Edwin's body and form as he appears to his hair grows shocking red, his eyes grow green as emeralds, and his ears grow slight points to them. And you hear an ancient tongue uttered from the Gallic script, Ananathrak usfasbethad dochia dienve. Ananathrak usfasbethad dochia dienve. Ananathrak usfasbethad dochia dienve. Anirin idrak mined calls. Trod for the open.
There's a bright golden light. For a moment, you see Veronica, because it's Veronica for a second, it's not Camarle, crying natural tears of joy. But she's back to the flames. The Trot is there, and you're in a cave.
Are we both in this cave?
Yes.
Are you satisfied now?
Let's go see the dragon.
No, do we have to?
You don't want this? You've come so far.
I believe I was led here under different circumstances. I don't know. Oh, fine, let's go.
Why don't you want to see this dragon?
It's a reminder of things that have happened before and that I've put behind me. That's all.
You're tied to a dragon. Was there a sacrifice?
None of the dragon's choosing. No.
It
But
doesn't matter. Was a virgin sacrificed?
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
A death of unhappy circumstance that gave birth to triggered the epiphany in me, I think would be the words to say. Anyway, Edwin shall leave the staff outside, glowing, but he would bear the red mist On his form, the shock of red hair, the green eyes, and the slight points to his ears. Lead on.
Edwin, tell me about the sacrifice.
I'd rather not. We're here to see the dragon.
I couldn't put myself back together until I talked about what happened to my babies. What happened to the sacrifice?
I'd rather not talk about it. Thank you. Can we just go and see the dragon now, please?
Will come a day when you will need to make peace with what has happened to you, or else you will be mad.
Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. Got better. Pulled myself together. Got a new perspective on life. Allow me to ascend to a higher level understanding of this world. Yeah. Are we going to see the dragon or not? It feels like some kind of fucking intervention, for God's sakes.
It took me a long time, but I learned that when the moment's not right, it's not right. You are the hero, but
I'm no hero in this story.
or not. No. You are the hero, but perhaps we've skipped past a couple of acts. You will need to come down here someday, and you will need to figure out why that sacrifice happened.
I'm sure I can understand the sacrifice happened, and I know understand what my parents would say about the whole thing, but that's not. The less said about that thing, the better, I think. I'd rather not talk about it. Should never need to be any sacrifice for understanding. That shouldn't be how the world works. I mean, shit that it happened.
There is power in blood. There's very old power. And doesn't matter if it's right or not. What matters is the story, like it or not. You have a good story.
You want me to? I don't have a good. This is not a good story, Veronica. This is not a good story. There is no noble sacrifice here. There is just selfishness. And out of that was born a loss and then an awakening. That's all it was. And forgive me.
Why was it selfish?
Selfish.
Yes. Why was it selfish?
This is not a Jeremy Carl moment. My God. We're in some cave somewhere and you want to talk about my past. No, this is not good.
Okay. Take my hand.
Reluctantly, Edwin does. It feels colder than it normally would do, as if the heat has retreated from his skin.
He is fey-blooded. I don't know his rating, but is it banality? Is it the numbness that comes with settling and regret?
I think it would be a use of power, a
Oh,
withdrawal
okay.
of energy, almost as if
Well, that's
he.
hardly banal.
But well, I think it might present itself as coldness to you in that sense. So his banality
Okay.
scores might have appeared to have. He might not be able to get so much of a reading on him, or his light may have become dimmer.
It took me 3 years to learn not to force somebody. 3 years. But I will be here for you. Let's go home.
Are we not seeing the dragon?
We're not seeing the dragon.
Is that what this is all about? So you bring me here to this place and with the promises of an adventure, and you demand that I open a trod to prove my heritage or my birthright, and then then you're asking me questions about my past, trying to get me to open up about them. What are you
Oh,
doing?
Edwin. It's the same thing.
You think I should go on an adventure?
What happened?
A personal adventure in my soul. Have a discussion with somebody I barely know anymore. Change their name, change their appearance, and the way she sees the world, and discuss the inner demons that I have. Maybe expose a weakness here. Maybe explain to the fact that I don't think that I should be a mage, and I hate the fact I am now, even though it was all that I wanted to be, and all I was told that my parents wanted it to be, forced into a position, and a penalty at the stupid cost. Absolutely stupid. I'm saying it. What am I doing? What am I doing here?
Edwin, give me a hug.
Why?
She'll give you a hug.
He will stiffen up, as all British people seem to do when they get hugged without being expected.
Oh, doesn't Camarley remember that? All right. She is warm. Fires don't burn. But, she's heard this tale so many times. Camarley pulls away.
You can see Edwin visibly relaxing. He was chilled to the touch. Americans
Let's
and
go.
interventions. Oh God. Yeah, let's go.
No. No, this is not Faye. This is not American. You are my friend. And I recognize madness. Not enlightened madness. No, I recognize personal
Was mad.
torment.
Was mad before, not anymore. Pull myself together. Smooth souled, remember?
The cover. I didn't want to tell you, but that's the reason why it looks wrong. I suspect there is a way amongst you people to do the most unnatural, to sever yourself from Kimru, from Dagda. I don't doubt it, but that hasn't happened yet, and you haven't reconciled. So until then, I will wait for you,
See, how can one
my friend.
reconcile? How can one reconcile with loss, man? You don't get over that. No, the pain that you feel and you carry around for things like that changes who you are. It's what shapes you to be you. And I don't want to give
Yes,
that up, and I don't see. I understand. I don't need to acknowledge it and say, "Yes, I'm in pain. I need to talk about that." No, I don't. I don't seem to need to be a complete person by taking stock and forgiving past things.
and why would that be?
Because there's nothing I can do to change about it. This is the absolute fallacy of being a wizard and being a mage and understanding the unique nature of this world. There's nothing you can do to change the past. You go back into the past with great magics that are from ancient tomes, you'll be creating something new. Everything is fixed points in time. It's not wibbly wobbly stuff. You cannot change things because you've always been shaped by it. And even if you did change, things would be different and you would still be the same.
I could bring Sari to life right now,
You do not
but you would not
mention
be a
Carrie's
mage.
name at all. You dare say her name. How the fuck did you know her?
What do you think, Edwin?
I think this is just a fucking trick. This is some bullshit thing now. You don't. Is this what you did when my defenses were down, perhaps, or when you knew me before? Is you entered my mind? I remember the time that you cast an enchantment on me and sent me back into the real world. Did you tear off a piece of me at that point and find out something about my past?
No.
You bring up Carrie now. Fucking day.
Well, I was never very good with school, so I'm not able to pronounce her name correctly, but you haven't stopped thinking about her since we came inside this dragon's belly.
So you brought me in here so you could and what would you and this is the reason why. Let's go before my memories unturn something else for you to use against me or to bring up and dig up old pasts. You can see Edwin's physically shaking at this point, almost like he's really angry. Well,
Edwin, you never researched why you were tied to a dragon?
I remember it well. I
It's
remember.
it's not just because it's Wales.
No, I remember that. I remember
You could
walking.
have been tied to 1,000 different things
I spoke to.
and still be in Wales.
I spoke to Kimru. I know why. I saw when I stood upon the grass and in my dreams, and I can see a great darkness that came from the east and it fell upon the world, and I can see the ground coming and falling into darkness. I can see it was like an absolute torrential storm of blackness that consumed the world. And it was the dragon's wings that came and dragon's fire that lit up the world again and spoke to me, and I made my offer. And I don't think I even made the offer because for me, or maybe I so desired it so much. I don't know. But I did not expect what happened next. And I really don't think this dragon came all the way from where it dwells now to go and speak to me directly because it knew what was going to happen afterwards. Or my decisions that took me to London away from my family and not being that. I'm talking about it. I fucking am. Fine, fine, fine. We grew up together, and she was 2 years younger than I was, and it was something that my parents pressured upon me all the time to become house of the guardians of the order, and their high expectations. I had no childhood. I was taught Pythagorean theorem. I was taught rudimentary Egyptian. They gave me all the tuition in the world to understand my role in it as a mage. And they were bitter and they were upset and disgusted the fact that I wasn't able to become awakened when I was there in Wales. So I left and I studied as hedge magic in the East, in London. And then I awoke when I had that dream, and then I understood why. Okay. Because what do you think they did when I left and they thought I was disappointment? When I walked around Wales and I signed my soul up to become linking with Kimru and not a house Quasar, but a house hodgepodge.
House Marinita.
That's what they call them. A joke in the house, a joke in the order, an embarrassment for my parents. And what do you think they did? What do you think I did? I was so happy with the fact that I was awakened and able to be inducted into the order, not to be proud of my parents, but to spite them. And I was sitting there all happy in the ivory tower in London. And I didn't bother going to those messages that I got. I didn't get the letters. I didn't read them because I was far too busy. That's what regret is. You know, simple letter. You don't bother reading between the lines, or you think your imagination is it, and you don't see that the fact that your sister was calling for help and telling you things, and the pressure they must have put her under to find something in her life or to marry off and get money back into the family that had nothing. Now I was a disappointment to them, yeah. And I didn't even make a funeral. And they found her when they cut her down. When they cut her down swinging in her room, and she hung herself all alone. She fucking hung herself, man. And she killed herself, and I wasn't there to help. I was too busy being a maid and understanding the fact that all the time that she spent to supporting and looking after me, I did not do it when she needed it most.
I found it.
Fucking
I
bitch.
found it. I found it. I found it. Take my hand now. I found it. I found it. Come on.
You fucking asshole. Why?
Get here. It's not going to last long. Take my hand. Take my fucking hand. It's not going to last long.
Edwin does.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want you to describe all those years ago. What did it look like? Carrie's funeral.
I don't. He has no memory. Edwin.
Yeah.
Edwin.
Edwin doesn't.
Edwin.
Edwin doesn't. But it happened. What did it look like?
How he pictures it in his mind.
No. That's not where we're going.
Okay. Sorry. Are we talking about how it actually happened or how
Actually happened. Tell me. Narrate that.
There were. It was overcast.
Okay.
It was outside. The rain came down from the early days when they were standing having the initial service. There's only very few people, and I wasn't. Edwin wasn't. Some of the agents of the order were there, though. keep an eye on things. The parents were there, stony faced, and they never shed a tear. They hid their face. Well, the mother hid her face behind the veil, but they appeared to be unmoving. Favorite. They played her favorite song. She was a musician just like Edwin is, and her instrument of choice was a trumpet, and she was going to be in one of the orchestral pieces of and playing Cardiff. This is going to be her crowning achievement as a musician. They played Amazing Grace. And then they buried her outside. The darkness abated. I think maybe Kimru himself had done something to the weather and changed it. And the last laugh that Carrie had was a rainbow that fell upon the ground as they said their last rites. There are only 6 people there.
8 people. Although Veronica and Edwin are never seen. She holds your hand the whole time. But you're there. You can feel the ground. It's not the dreaming. It's not somebody's mind's memory of it. You're there and you're seeing all of this happen.
He doesn't turn to face you at all. He just stares straight on at the parents. Can't even bring himself to look at the coffin.
It takes about an hour. And then they start to dissipate. The funeral director is there. Her coffin is still there. The other funerary workers are there. Veronica is very careful and doesn't say anything. But she will eventually let go of your hand and walk off into the rainbow.
Edwin shall remain.